Everyone. Welcome everyone to day two of playing with tools. And yesterday we played with interesting point of view. I know I had a lot of fun with that tool. There were moments that it was almost like a reminder in my world to be present with interesting point of view. And when there was some stuff that showed up, it wasn't really necessarily uncomfortable. So I have no dramatic story to share really, but yet just being interesting point of view around the normal mundane stuff around me was was interesting to see how much freedom I got with that, with just playing with that tool. So I do hope that you played with it too, and please share if something showed up for you. You never know what your story may inspire someone, and may have that person, that someone's life change. So please feel free to share what changed for you when you use that tool. So today's tool is I'm wanting to play with the tool of play with the question, ask questions. So my tool for today is asking questions, which is something that has become kind of a way of living now for me. I find myself very rarely going into conclusions and answers and decisions. And yet there are moments when I ask a question uh, from a hidden agenda, or I ask a question from already having a conclusion of what should show up by me asking a question. In other words, I find myself often being vested in the outcome. So my the target to play with this tool today is to really be willing to be out of control with asking questions and to have no agenda with my asking questions, but with just being present with what can this question create. So questions is something that empowers you. And most of us have been trained to look for answers. We've been trained to have answers because when we don't have an answer, we are told you don't even know, or we are told how wrong we are because we have not given the correct answer. Answer has been misidentified as awareness. What is truly real for you is awareness, is your knowing. And your awareness and your knowing comes from you asking questions. Your willingness to ask a question is what has your knowing, your awareness expanding. And that's you actually exercising the muscle of awareness. Up until now, we've been exercising what, and we've been exercising and we've been making real for us what other people believe is true. Like, somebody's had an experience and with somebody, or if someone's had an experience with um, a place or a hotel or food or, whatever, we kind of start to make that our reality. We start to believe it's true because it happened with somebody. What questions does it? It actually brings you out of other people's experiences and including your past experiences. So you may have had a really bad experience, say at a hotel when you went for a holiday, and now you've decided and concluded you're never going to go there again. I'm not going to go to that hotel because I had such a bad experience in the past, so I'm not going to go. So that's a conclusion. And we find ourselves very often in this form of conclusion in everyday life, in the mundane choices that we actually make, the simple choices that we are making day to day. We actually come from conclusions and answers instead of asking a question. So if you had a bad experience at a hotel, at a restaurant, instead of being the space of, I will never go back again, ask, you know, could this change? If I was to go back, will it create greater? Will I have fun? Yes, no, no, okay, not go. Where can I go now? Where could I get the food that I'm asking to eat? My body is asking to eat. And then see what shows up. So yeah, when I started to ask questions like this, especially around body, I thought I was really being weird because I was like, how can I ask what my body wants to eat? Like, am I nuts? I should know what I want to eat. And it's about me eating. And it was only when I started to do more classes and access and I began to read a lot of access books, which I highly recommend that you get for yourselves because the books are so informative and there is so much change that shows up just simply by reading a book. One of my favorite books is Being You, Changing the World by Dr. Dane Here. Then there's another wonderful book called Money is Not a Problem, You Are by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane Here. Um, Another beautiful book is The Place by Gary Douglas. And there are lots of more books. So if you actually start to look for access consciousness books, you will find a lot of them. And if you've never done access before and you would like to know what it's all about, get yourself a book. It's a great way of starting. And you will find that there are lots of questions in the books and a lot of questions that while you read them, it starts to change a lot in your world. It starts to change a lot in your life. And when we ask questions, we also run a clearing statement with it. So it becomes a clearing statement, a clearing. Now, when you run a clearing statement with a question, you're clearing the energy of whatever that question brings up for you. You don't necessarily have to run the clearing statement. You can just ask a question and leave it. And it's totally your choice, whatever is ease for you. You can either ask a question and then run the clearing statement, which runs as right and wrong, good and bad, fun and fuck, all nine shots, boys, forwards, and beyonds. For those of you who got really confused with what I said, you can always read more about it on the net. There is clearing statement by Dr. Dane here, uh, .com, and it's a or this clearing statement by Dr. Dane here. Yeah, I will put that link in the chat for you to have. So yeah, coming to the questions again, you can either magnify the change by adding a clearing statement, or you can just ask a question. And questions really create. Questions really create because what you are now creating, what you're now choosing, is what would contribute to you instead of being the conclusion of what should, must contribute to you. So questions that I like to play with around situations that are fun are, does it get any better than this? You know, or questions that I like to ask around a situation that is not really going my way. Again, how does it get any better than this? When you ask a simple question like this, it starts to change the energy. So if it's really going great for you and you're loving it, don't go to conclusion of, oh my God, this is so good. But instead ask, how does it get any better than this? So the universe starts to give you something that starts to show up way greater. And if something's not working for you and you ask, how does it get any better than this? The universe changes the energy of what is showing up in your world. So now there's more ease. A few other questions, similar questions are, what else is possible? Again, very, very basic questions. And for those of you who've done access before, you're like, but that's just the ABC of access. Yes, it is the ABC of access, yet you cannot write an essay without the ABC. So these questions are really magical. What else is possible? How does it get any better than this? If something is showing up in your world that is not fun, you can always ask, what's right about this I'm not getting? What's right about this I am not getting? So you're actually asking for you to change the energy of where you are in conclusion of how this is bad, this is terrible, this is horrible, to an energy of, wow, it just changed. What else is possible from here now? So these are the three questions I am going to be playing with today, besides all the other questions that I regularly ask. I cannot stop that because that's just become like breathing for me. But yes, I am going to play a lot with these three questions. What else is possible? How does it get any better than this? And what's right about this I'm not getting? Please share your questions that you ask and do share situations if the question changed something for you. And if you would like to play with these three questions today, go for it. If you want to play with different questions, go for it. But just be aware that your questions do not have a conclusion attached to it. Don't be invested in the outcome. Let your questions be open-ended. Let there be an element of surprise to the question. Okay? So I will see you all tomorrow, friends, and have fun. And a number of you asked me if there's going to be a fixed time for these calls. I'm sorry, there is not going to be a fixed time because I cannot promise you a fixed time where this is concerned. But yes, I will hop in for sure every day with the tool. And if you want, you can always switch on the notifications so you get notified when I hop on. Thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.